Some people complain that English is a pain to learn, remember and recite. Some people they fuss, they curse, moan and cuss that they have to stay up all night. Well, people don't whine because things will be fine. I can promise you that in a flash. For there's a man about town who will help you calm down and ease all your worries in a dash. You'll find him on the net. Yes, he's easy to get. Just a few clicks away. That's all. So people, I shout it again till I'm blue. If you're learning English, here's what you must do. Tap this short address and click with your mouse. Be you at a net bar or alone in your house. There's no course of action that could be finer. youtube.com/Duncan in China. Are we still here? Is the world still here? Do we still exist? Apparently, yes, we are all still here. Hi, everybody. It's Mr. Duncan in England. How are you today? Are you okay? I hope so. Are you happy? I hope so. Here we go again. We are now live on YouTube across the World Wide Web. It is Sunday afternoon here in the UK. I don't know what time it is where you are because I'm not there. I'm here. So here we go. It's been a very dramatic week. The world, for a brief moment, seemed to be on the brink of nuclear war. But fortunately, we are all here to tell the story. So thank goodness for that. So it's nice to see you here again. Let us get the most obvious thing out the way. If you have been following me on Facebook, you will know that yesterday it was my birthday. Thank you so much to everyone who has sent messages concerning my birthday. In fact, let's have a look now. On Facebook, there are so many messages. So can I just once again say thank you very much for all of the messages for yesterday. It was my birthday yesterday. Let's have a little look, shall we, at some of the messages. There were around about 100, maybe 200 messages. I think actually in the end it was over 200 messages. So here are some of the messages that I received yesterday concerning my birthday. So thank you very much to everyone who sent messages for my birthday. Look, so many people, over 200 messages were sent to my Facebook page yesterday. And here they are. Here are all of them. Can you see your name there? If it is there, can I say thank you very much once again for sending me a greeting? Because yesterday it was my birthday. Yes, I am another year older. Oh my goodness. I did have a lovely day. For those asking, I had a lovely breakfast yesterday in Ironbridge with Mr. Steve, of course. And then later we went for a lovely walk, and then in the evening we went out for a Chinese meal because I do like Chinese food. I used to live in China for many years, so I like to consider myself an expert when it comes to Chinese food. In other words, I can tell when Chinese food has been made well, and I can tell when Chinese food has been made badly. Look at all these messages. There are so many that came through yesterday on my Facebook page. Can I say thank you once again? Quite a few people were asking how old I am now. How old are you, Mr. Duncan? Well, let's just say I'm much older than my teeth, but not as old as my hair. That's all I'm saying for now. I don't think my age is a very well kept secret, to be honest. I think lots of people know exactly how old I am. So please don't ask. I won't be telling you how old I am or how old I became yesterday. Look at all these messages. There are so many messages. Is your name there? I can see my name there. I don't know what I'm doing there. So there they are. Those are all of the messages in response to my birthday, which happened yesterday. Thank you once again for all of your super messages. Oh my goodness. I am such a lucky person because I have so many wonderful fans watching me on YouTube. Thank you very much once again. I also had some lovely cards. Would you like to see the card that my mother sent me? Would you like to see it? Okay, here is the birthday card that I received from my mother. It's a very funny one. There we go. So there is the card that my mother sent. I love the photograph on the front. In fact, that does look a little bit like me. That does look like me. Do you think there is a resemblance there between me and the picture on the card? Yes, I think there is a resemblance. We do look very similar. So thank you, Mummy, for my card. There it is. I had lots of cards. Also, I had lots of lovely messages via the internet as well. So thank you very much. Last week I played you one of my early video clips because don't forget I have been on YouTube for over 10 years. In fact, in a few weeks' time it will be my 11th year on YouTube. Can you believe it? So I have been here since 2006 making my English video lessons. If you are interested in watching my lessons, don't forget you can find all of my lessons on the playlists under this video. They are all there in the description. So underneath this video you can find all of the playlists for my video lessons. So last week I played you one of my old birthday messages. I thought today we would do the same thing. So here is a message that I recorded in 2012. Now the interesting thing about this video is that I recorded it before I moved to the place in which I live now, before I moved to Much Wenlock. So this particular video was filmed around about 7 months before I moved to Much Wenlock. They say that time waits for no man or woman, which is quite apt for today because it's a special day. The 12th of August 2012 is special for two reasons. One is because the Olympic Games come to a close today with big celebrations, and two, it's my birthday. Yes, Mr. Duncan is another year older. Am I happy? Of course I'm happy. I'm such a happy chappy. I've come to a very special place. In fact, it is a place I've been to before during one of my English lessons. It's Much Wenlock in Shropshire. A beautiful place, and I've come here to treat myself to a special birthday tea. that was absolutely delicious, and I had a free chocolate fudge cake as well, with a candle in it to celebrate my birthday. I will be back with you all again very soon with another lesson, some more word stops, and maybe, perhaps, who knows, a brand new Ask Mr. Duncan. Yes, it's true. This is Mr. Duncan in Much Wenlock, doing this on his birthday, saying thank you for watching me celebrating my birthday with you, and of course, ta-ta for now. You know, the world of English is a fun and oh, hang on a second.
I'm going to have to walk round as you do that.
Yeah, there's Mr. Steve once again getting in the way. Talking of Mr. Steve will be live in the garden today at 3 o'clock. So we have the outside camera already set up. There it is. So there is a live view outside. You can tell it's live because the clock is exact. So we'll be going outside live with Mr. Steve, but the big question is, what is Mr. Steve going to do today? It looks as if he has prepared something to show us, but what is it? What is Mr. Steve up to? I hope you enjoyed the video that I just showed you. The video taken in 2012 on my birthday. Of course, yesterday it was my birthday. Thank you very much for all of your lovely greetings. I am very, very moved. I was very moved, very touched, very flattered even. Maybe slightly flattered by all of your lovely messages. Did I receive a gift? I received some presents, but I think my most favourite present of all must have been these. Look at this. Look at this. Now, last week I mentioned that I needed some new socks, and guess what? I have lots of new socks that have been given to me for my birthday, and can you see they are all stripy socks? So I have lots and lots of socks now to wear. Many of my socks, sadly, have worn out. They are full of holes, unfortunately. But here we have some lovely socks. You can see we have some yellow and blue socks with pink. We have green. In fact, that looks like lime green. Lime green, red and blue. Very colourful. And of course pink and blue with some green, and we have some orange and blue as well. Can you see the orange and blue socks? Look at that, they are very bright. I love bright socks. Don't ask me why, I've always loved them. So now I have lots and lots of socks to wear. There is no shortage of socks. We will be talking about socks later on today because about 3 years ago I recorded my first ever Mr. Duncan's full English lesson, and during that lesson I did talk about socks, and I also read a poem about my old socks. So we will be taking a look at that today as well. So I went out this week. We went out for some lovely walks, by the way, because Mr. Steve is now on holiday and I am also taking a break as well. We went walking this week, and near to where I live, there are lots and lots of amazing walks that you can take. So we went on some lovely walks this week, and here is a very useful book that we bought to help us decide where to walk. So there, can you see it? Hill walking in Shropshire. A lot of people ask where I live. I live in the county of Shropshire. And the town that I live in is called Much Wenlock. Much Wenlock. That is where I live. A lot of people ask. Also this week, I've been in the garden, of course. It wouldn't be a live English stream without talking about animals. Birds, especially at the moment, because the birds have gone crazy in the garden. Would you like to see some of the birds in the garden? Look at this. I filmed this week. So this was actually filmed during the week. And can you see all of the birds on the feeder? There are so many. The birds at the moment have gone absolutely crazy. In fact, you could say that it's been a bumper year for birds. Bumper. When we say that something is bumper, it means it is extra large or exceptional, something that is very impressive or large, we can describe as being bumper. So this year we have had a bumper year for birds. That means there are lots and lots of birds around. Lots of new birds have appeared. So can you see all of the birds in my garden? There are so many blue tits. Can you see the blue tits? And also there are some long-tailed tits as well. So that is a view taken in my garden this week. Lots and lots of birds. They have gone crazy this week. And the word that I used is bumper. Bumper. So if something is exceptional, if you have a very good season for something, if something goes exceptionally well, we can say that we have had a bumper year or a bumper season. So we can say that it has been a bumper year for birds. There are many, many birds, many new birds flying around. My throat is a little bit dry today. In fact, I must admit I'm a little bit dehydrated today because I went out for a Chinese meal last night to celebrate my birthday, and I don't know about you, but I always find Chinese food to be a little bit salty. So they often put too much salt in the food. So today I feel very thirsty. In fact, I'm so thirsty my throat has gone very dry. So excuse me whilst I have a little bit of water. Excuse me. Lovely. So lots of things to talk about today. Of course, it was my birthday yesterday. A good question to ask today is, when was your best birthday? When was your best birthday? And what was the best gift you ever received? How do you normally spend your birthday? So what do you do when it's your birthday? Some people like to stay at home. Some people like to stay quiet and alone on their birthday, whilst other people like to go out and have parties and celebrate their birthday. So how do you celebrate your birthday? Also today we are talking about mistakes as well. We are talking all about mistakes. Do you ever make mistakes? Do you ever own up to them? The phrase own up means admit. So you admit to making mistakes or making a mistake. So if you make a mistake and you tell someone about it, or you admit, we can say that you own up. Own up. So you own up to making a mistake. Of course, we don't like making mistakes, do we? We always feel very awkward, very upset and very embarrassed whenever we make a mistake. But we all make mistakes. To err is human, to forgive divine. I love that expression. So we all make mistakes. It is a normal thing to do. At 3 o'clock today, yes, 3 o'clock today, we are going outside. Mr. Steve will be in the garden, and so will I. I will be joining Mr. Steve in the garden at 3 o'clock today. So please don't go away. If you would like to get in touch, if you would like to follow me on Facebook, or maybe you would like to send me an email, here is how you do it. It is Sunday afternoon and it's Mr. Duncan live on YouTube with another live English stream. Don't forget, I am with you every Sunday. You can catch me live on YouTube every Sunday from 2 p.m. UK time, live on YouTube. We have the live chat. It is now up and running. Lots of people to say hello to. I know that some people don't like it when I say hello to people, but I'm going to anyway. Mohammed Abdal Razik says, I am the first one here today. You are, definitely. Julie G is here. Hello, Julie. Hello, Rajay. Hello, Radia, who is watching in Morocco at the moment. Mohammed Yusuf is here. Hello to you. Dan Ivanov is here as well. Thank you, Dan. Poluxio asks, is it correct to say I feel good? I was told that I should say I feel well. You can feel good and you can feel well. Well normally refers to your health. So if we feel well about something, then, or if we feel well in general, it means we feel healthy. So we feel healthy inside. When we say I feel good, we can use that to mean confident. So I feel good about something. I feel good. It means you have a good feeling about it. I feel good about my exams. I feel good about my future. So we can use that to describe feeling confident. And if we say I feel well, normally it refers to the way we feel health-wise. So we can use both, but they do often have different meanings. Analia is here, watching in Argentina. Hello to you, and a big hello to everyone watching in Argentina. Dewey Njuan is here, and also Anne Ter Do, who is watching in Vietnam. In fact, both of you are watching at the moment in Vietnam, so a big hello to you as well. It was my birthday yesterday. I had so many messages on my Facebook page. Natalia is here watching in the Ukraine. Thank you very much for joining me today. Thanks a lot. Sonia is here. Hi, Mr. Duncan. How are you? I'm okay. I'm feeling good. Even though last night I was up until very late. Do you want to know what I was doing last night? For the last hour of my birthday last night, I went into the garden with Mr. Steve and we sat outside in the dark watching the meteor shower. Did you see it last night? It was amazing. The meteor shower occurred last night on my birthday. Isn't that lovely? So my birthday ended with a beautiful meteor shower. Did you go outside and have a look? Well, I was outside last night doing just that. Nicole Joffrey is here. Hello, Mr. Duncan. I hope you had a sunny and happy birthday yesterday. I did. I had a super time yesterday. It was a beautiful day. I had a beautiful breakfast. I had a lovely walk. And then in the evening, I had a nice meal with Mr. Steve, a Chinese meal. It's been a very long time since I've eaten Chinese food. Hello, greetings from Egypt. From Amrawadi. Hello to you as well. Happy birthday for yesterday from Patricia. Thank you, Patricia. If you say something that's later than it was or after the event, we can say belated. Belated. So you are late for my birthday, but you can still wish me happy birthday by wishing me belated birthday wishes. So happy birthday, belated birthday wishes, belated. It means to do something after the event. Olga is here. Hello, Mr. Duncan. Nice to see you today and happy birthday for yesterday. It was my birthday yesterday, not today. It was yesterday. Juan Gerardo says, Mr. Duncan, I want to send you a big hug from Mexico. Thank you very much for that. That's very kind of you. Lots of people now on the live chat. It's very busy today. Jamal asks, how old are you? Iya, you should never ask a person what their age is. You should never do that. Some people think it might be a bit rude. Marianne says, I wish you every happiness on your special day. Well, it was yesterday, not today. It's not my birthday today. It was yesterday. Happy birthday for yesterday from Lucas Soares. Thank you very much for that. Thank you, Lucas, for your message. We have the mystery idioms coming today. Yes, I haven't forgot. Don't worry. We have some mystery idioms, and also at 3 o'clock we are going outside because Mr. Steve will be outside, and apparently he has something to show us. I don't know what it is. I have no idea, but Mr. Steve will be outside at 3 o'clock in just over half an hour from now. Mr. Steve will be here. So, do you ever make mistakes? Do you ever make mistakes? And if you do, or if you have, do you ever own up to them? Own up means admit or confess. So you own up to making a mistake. It is true that people don't like making mistakes. We really don't like it. If we make a mistake, we normally try to cover our mistake or hide it. So if you cover your mistake, it means you try to hide it. You try to hide the mistake. Rajay says, Mr. Duncan, your birth sign is the lion. Yes, it is. Leo, the lion. So I am Leo. That is my birth sign. Although, to be honest with you, I don't really believe in astrology. I don't actually believe in it, to be honest. 2Fam is here. Hello, 2Fam. Thanks for joining me. Cardo is here. Hello, Cardo. Where are you watching today? Aurora Rawbur says, happy birthday for yesterday. Feliz aniversario from Brazil. I believe that means happy birthday. I think it does. Hassan is here as well. Thank you for joining me today, Hassan Abbas. I appreciate your kind effort to teach people like us. We wish you have a lovely belated happy birthday. Belated. There is that word again. Nelson is here. Hello, Nelson. Happy birthday for yesterday. You are not going to get older. You are going to get more experienced. Congratulations from Nelson in Brazil. Thank you very much for that. Khan Najuan is here. Did you have a super birthday? Yes, I had a lovely birthday. I had some lovely presents, including these socks. Can you see all of these socks? They were all given to me yesterday on my birthday. Also, I had a lovely card from my mummy as well. So there is the card that my mother sent yesterday. Isn't that lovely? I think the picture on the front looks a little bit like me. The teeth. I think the teeth are very similar. Do you think so? I think so. So, have you ever made any mistakes in your life? We're going to look at mistakes now. First of all, we are going to look at a video lesson all about English spelling mistakes. English, just like any other language, has its quirks and idiosyncrasies. That is to say, the language is not perfect. Similar sounding words and odd grammatical clauses, not to mention the odd spelling of certain words, can lead to confusion, even for native English speakers. Today I'm going to look at some commonly used English words that even those speaking English as a first language often get wrong. Our first commonly misspelt word is necessary. The word necessary is one of the most commonly misspelt words in English. This is due to the use of single and double letters within the word, namely the single C and the double S. Our second misspelt English word is definitely. This is a word that catches many people out, mainly due to the sound of the third syllable, which sounds like the letter A. This leads many people to mistakenly replace the I with an A. Remember, there is no A in definitely. There is definitely no A in definitely. Our third misspelt English word is fascination. This word catches many people out due to the occurrence of the letter S and C being placed together. Many people leave out the letter S altogether. Whilst we are talking about occurrence, the word occurrence itself is another English word that is often spelt incorrectly. Occur has one R and two C's. Occurred, occurring, and occurrence have two C's and two R's. Another commonly misspelt English word is separate. It is a common mistake to add an extra E to the word by replacing the middle A. Again, the pronunciation of separate can be misleading, especially so in this case as the word can be pronounced in more than one way. Two things can be apart or separate. You can separate two things, which means to split or divide. Separate, separate. Our final misspelt word today is psychology. This is a real stinker of a word to spell because it contains not one but two silent letters. The P and H are silent. Another good example of this occurrence is psychiatric. At the end of this lesson you will see a list of other commonly misspelt English words. How many of them do you get wrong? You might be surprised to learn that many people make spelling mistakes. Even I have been known from time to time to make the occasional faux pas or blunder whilst writing. For most of the time, it is due to a slip of the finger on the computer keyboard. Or at least, that's my excuse. Spelling mistakes are nothing to be ashamed of, as we all make them. From time to time. I hope this lesson has been helpful to you, and I will see you again soon for another English lesson. This is Mr. Duncan in England saying ta-ta for now. Do you ever make spelling mistakes when you are writing? Many people make spelling mistakes, and there you had 200. What amazing value for money. 200 commonly misspelt words in the English language. I hope you enjoyed that. Later on we will have another lesson all about making mistakes. Do you ever make mistakes? Do you ever make errors? Do you ever own up to them? So when you've made a mistake, when you've got something wrong, when you have made a big mistake, do you ever own up? Own up means admit. You admit to doing something wrong. You were incorrect. Incorrect. You were wrong. You made a mistake. The live chat is up and running. We have Mr. Steve at 3 o'clock, and also we have the mystery idioms as well. Would you like to have a look at the mystery idioms right now? Yes, okay. We have 2 mystery idioms. What you have to do is say what you see. Here is the first mystery idiom. So there it is, the first mystery idiom. But what is it? Just say what you see. Say what you see. And here is the second one. What? What is that? What? What's going on there? What? What is that? Does anyone know? There is a well-known English a well-known English expression. But what is it? Here is the first one again. What was that? Shall we have a look at that again? The second one. What is that? That is a well-known English expression. It is an expression that we often use in English. But what is it? And there is the first one. If you think you know what the answers are, please let me know, because of course we have the live chat today. And if you want to send a little donation or a late birthday present, you also can do so via the super chat. So if you look for that button, you can make a little birthday donation. It was my birthday yesterday. Thank you very much once again for your lovely messages. So many people got in touch to say happy birthday. It was my birthday. I am another year older. I'm not a big fan of birthdays. In fact, the older you get, the more you hate your birthday. Trust me. So last night I was in the garden watching the meteor shower. Did you see it? Did you see any shooting stars in the sky? Also, I was asked about my new neighbours. Mr. Duncan, do you have your new neighbours yet? Not yet, but I do have some news concerning my new neighbours. Now, last week, a surveyor came to the house. A surveyor is a person who checks the house to make sure that everything is okay structurally. So to make sure that the brickwork and the roof and everything else is okay. So the surveyor will come to the house to make sure that the house is okay before it is sold. But someone has bought the house. So I'm waiting to see who the new neighbour is. I still don't know who it is, but my neighbour will be moving away soon, the current neighbour, and then someone else will be moving in. They will be moving into the house. But who will it be? I still don't know. I still have no idea. Oh, by the way, today is left-handed day. Do you use your left hand or your right hand to do things? So some people use their left hand to write, and some people use their right hand. Some people can use both. They can write with their left hand and their right hand. We call these people ambidextrous. Ambidextrous. So a person who is ambidextrous can use both hands to do things. Normally writing. So are you left-handed or are you right-handed? Did you know that in the whole world there is only 10% of left-handed people? In the whole world, just 10%. So are you left-handed or right-handed? Do you ever make mistakes? And of course we have the mystery idioms. And there is the second one. What is that? If you think you know the answers to today's mystery idioms, please let me know. Back to the live chat. Agnieszka or Agnieszka Matchak says, happy birthday for yesterday. I know how old you are because I saw one of your programs when you told this. Okay then, is my birthday a secret? Is my age a secret? Well, of course, my birthday was yesterday, but my age, some people don't know how old I am. Thank goodness. Carvo Hung is here. Thank you, Carvo Hung. Hello Sun is here. Mr. Duncan, you look exactly the same as you did in 2012. Thank you very much for that. Thank you very much. Olga, you are very kind. Oh, sorry. Hello Sun, you are very kind. Olga says, I'm so intrigued to find out what Mr. Steve is going to do today. What is Mr. Steve doing? Well, there is the view outside. That is a live view in the garden. But what is Mr. Steve going to do? Find out in 15 minutes time. Back to the live chat because lots of people today want to speak, want to leave their messages, and you are very welcome to do so. Abdo is here. What is the most effective method when it comes to writing essays? Well, quite often you will write an essay about a particular subject. So normally you will write about something that you are knowledgeable of. So that is the first tip. The best way to write an essay is to be knowledgeable about the subject. Pedro Belmont is here. Hello, Mr. Duncan. How was your party yesterday? Did you get many gifts? I did. I had lots of gifts, including these socks. Ooh. Mr. Duncan, it looks as if the birds are having a party in your garden. Yes, this week in the garden, the birds were going crazy. Absolutely crazy this week. So many birds. I think it's safe to say that there are more birds this year. There are more newly hatched birds. So these are birds that have hatched out this year. So I think this year, oh, look at that. There's a little blue tit. That is a blue tit chick. Oh, so cute. Hello. Oh, yes, so lovely. So this year, I think this year there are more birds than in most previous years, definitely. Juan Pablo says, I can never make mistakes. I can never say do mistakes. No, you never do mistakes. You make mistakes. You don't do a mistake, you make a mistake. Or you have made a mistake. Thank you for your birthday greeting, Abril. Zainab says, I like to spend my birthday with my family. That is another question today. When was your best birthday? What was the best gift that you got for your birthday, and how do you spend your birthday? So Zainab spends their birthday with their family. That's very nice. Thank you very much for that. Khan Najuin is here. My best birthday was when I was 5 years old. Lots of my friends and family came to my house to wish that I have a happy birthday. Yes, I think parties are amazing. But normally we only have birthday parties when we're young. Do you think so? So I think birthday parties really are for young people, children or teenagers. I'm not sure if adults have birthday parties. Unless, of course, it is maybe the 50th birthday. So 50 or 60 or 70 or 80 or maybe 90 or even your 100th birthday. Imagine that. Imagine living to 100 years old and having a birthday. Here in the UK, if you become 100 years old, so if you reach 100 years old, you actually get a letter from the Queen of England. It's true. The Queen of England actually sends a letter to you to say congratulations. Amazing. Incredible. Ahmed says, I can't remember if I've had the best birthday, but the best gift was from my friend. He took me to a health club and we had a sauna. Very hot, very sweaty. Nicole Jeffrey says, we must say striped socks, or do we say stripy socks? You can say both, to be honest. You can say striped socks or stripy socks. So there is a pair of socks. I had many of these for my birthday yesterday. So we can say stripy or striped. Striped. My lovely, lovely new socks. We will be taking a look at some of my old socks later. Thank you very much to Marianne. Thank you, Leon Louis. My birthday would be as normal as usual. Nothing would happen during my birthday. I always remember the first year that I was in China. The first year in China when I had my first birthday. during my time in China. I had three birthday parties on the same day. So at lunchtime, I went to a birthday party, and then I went to a hotel and had another birthday party. And then in the evening, I went out with some of my teacher friends and also some of my students. And we went for a big party at Pizza Hut. Yes, we did. Hello, Mr. Duncan. Happy birthday. What do you want? If you could have what you want. To be honest, this happens every year. People always ask, Mr. Duncan, what do you want for your birthday? And I always say, nothing. I can't think of anything I really need for my birthday. Except maybe some new socks. Munir Hajjaj is here. Hello to you. Hello, Karina. Thank you very much for joining me today. Happy birthday for yesterday, Mr. Duncan. I am French, and now I am watching you in Brighton, in the UK. Lionel. Thank you, Lionel, for that. Yes, Mr. Steve will be here at 3 o'clock today. 3 o'clock live in the garden. Also later on today, we are going to talk about movies. We are going to take a look at some of my favourite movies. Not all of them. But later on today, we will take a look at some of my favourite movies. So if you have any favourite movies that you want to talk about today, maybe a movie that you like to watch again and again and again. So later on, we are talking about movies, and I will be showing you some of my favourite movies. You can see some of them there in the photograph. So if you have a favourite movie, a film that you can watch over and over again, please let me know. So many things coming today, including the live chat with you. Hello Son says, what dishes did you eat last night at the Chinese restaurant? Chinese restaurants often add monosodium glutamate to the dishes to increase the flavour. I know that. Normally when I go to a Chinese restaurant, I always ask that there is no MSG in the food. So I always ask, please, can I have no MSG in the food? MSG stands for monosodium glutamate. Of course, too much of that is not good for your health. It is not good for you at all. So last night I had some chicken, some lovely chicken satay. Absolutely delicious. Also chicken chow mein as well. Chow mein. I love chow mein very much. It is one of my favourite Chinese dishes. Also I had some sweet and sour vegetables. So some lovely vegetables with sweet and sour sauce. And of course I had some rice as well. You can't have Chinese food without eating rice. Also, I was asked last night by the person working in the Chinese restaurant if I wanted to have chopsticks. And I said yes, because I can use chopsticks. That is one of the things that I learnt during my time in China. I learnt how to use chopsticks, and I can use them very well. In Chinese, we say kuaits. So kuaits means chopsticks. I am going to the aquarium tomorrow. Would you like to see some fish swimming? Well, I suppose if you go to the aquarium, you can see lots of fish swimming, I think. Aurora says, I belated. No, that isn't right. We normally describe something as being belated. So we describe something as being belated. So we can say belated birthday greetings. So that means that the birthday greetings are given late. So not on the birthday, but after the birthday. Mochin says, hello, Mr. Duncan. Thank you very much. And a big hello from Morocco. I have lots of people around the world watching my lessons. Lucas says, thanks for reading my message. You are welcome, Lucas. No problem. That is why I am here every single Sunday. Just 5 minutes to go, and then Mr. Steve will be with us live in the garden. But first of all, let's have a look at the mystery idioms once again. Here they are. So here is the first mystery idiom. But what is it? And here is the second one. What is that? What is going on there? I have no idea. And there is the first one again. Today's mystery idioms. Lots of people like to guess. They like to make guesses as to what the mystery idioms are. If you think you know what the mystery idioms are today, please let me know. Back to the live chat. Olga. Hello, Olga. I do make mistakes. In fact, I tend to own up to them because I strongly believe that unless you own up to them, you can never move on. Some people believe that if you own up to your mistakes, you can move on. It means you can continue with your life without worrying about it. So yes, I think we all make mistakes, to be honest. Even I make mistakes. Last week, did you notice last week in my live English lesson last week, I made a spelling mistake? Yes, so even I make mistakes sometimes. So we all make mistakes, of course. Ahmed Offman says, I often make mistakes. We all do, don't worry. Amrawadi is here. Better late than never. That's what I say. Mr. Duncan, you don't believe in astrology. No, I don't. I don't really believe in astrology, no, to be honest. Okay, the live chat has gone crazy again. It normally does around this time. Jamelia is here. Thank you for your late birthday greeting. Thank you very much for that. We can learn from our mistakes. Oh, well done, Jamal. That is a very good thing to say. Yes, of course, we all make mistakes, but quite often we can also learn from our mistakes. Thank you, Jamal. That is very good. Eugene says, thanks to text editors like Word, we can easily correct our spelling mistakes. It is true, yes. These days, if you use a computer whilst typing, quite often the computer will correct your spelling mistakes. But not always. Not always. Sometimes they do slip through. Catherine Foggs is here. Hello, Catherine. Thanks for joining me today. Saturino, thank you very much for your belated birthday greeting. Thank you very much for that. Olga has made a guess at one of today's mystery idioms. Thank you very much for that. Elmer is here. Happy birthday for yesterday and thanks for teaching English. You are welcome, Elmer. No problem. Carvo Hung has made a guess for today's mystery idiom. Thank you very much. And also Claudio as well. And Jamal as well. Wow. Lee Han Juan says Night Witch Challenge. I don't know what that refers to. I'm sorry about that. I'm not sure what that means. Trong Nan says, hello, Mr. Duncan. I come from Ho Chi Minh City in Vietnam, and it's very nice to meet you on your live English right now. Best wishes and happy birthday for yesterday. Thank you, Trong. You are very kind. Wow. I received over 200 personal messages yesterday. Wow. And I read them all. I looked at all of them. Honestly, I really did. Left-handed people. Oh, okay. Marcelo is left-handed. He uses his left hand. Right, what time is it? It has just gone 3 o'clock. We are now about to go outside. So, lots of people very excited to see what is going on in the garden today. Well, I will tell you what is going on. Outside in the garden, at this very moment, Mr. Steve is waiting for us. There he is. There is Mr. Steve. Look at that. Oh, hello, Mr. Steve. He looks very proud of himself. Why does he look so proud? I don't know why. So let's go outside, shall we? I am now going outside to greet Mr. Steve. Let's see what is going on. I'm coming. Hello. Hi everybody. Hello there. We are now outside. It is live, just to prove it. It is 2 minutes after 3 o'clock, just gone 3 o'clock, and it's a Sunday afternoon, and it's Mr. Duncan and
Mr. Steve.
Yes, we are out in the garden today. So I was talking earlier about last night, because we went out last night, didn't we? We had a lovely
Chinese meal.
Yes, it was beautiful. A little bit salty though. So today I'm feeling very thirsty. But yesterday I had the most amazing Chinese meal. We had it last night, didn't we? Over in Wolverhampton. A very lovely meal. And today we are outside recovering from all of the things we did yesterday, because we were very busy yesterday doing lots of things. So, Mr. Steve, what is going on here?
Well, today I'm going to explain the names, talk about the names of common gardening tools. Tools that are used in the garden commonly, and I'm going to run through some of the names of them just for those people who are very keen on gardening, or even those who aren't but still want to know what the names of those pieces of equipment that people commonly use in the garden. So, shall I get straight on with the first one?
Let's do this, shall we? Let's do. I don't know how this is going to actually work, so I hope you can see and hear us okay. We are now live outside on a Sunday afternoon. All of the neighbours probably think we've gone completely crazy. So, Mr. Steve, please, can you bring the first tool?
Right.
So Mr. Steve today is showing us his tools.
Well, the first piece of equipment you need for safe gardening is a pair of gardening gloves. So I'm going to put these on so that I don't get scratched and cut and pierced with various things around the garden. So that's what you need first, gardening gloves.
Gardening gloves. Pierced. So if something sticks in your skin, we can say it pierces your skin. So these gloves will stop things from sticking in to your skin.
Like thorns.
Ooh, I don't like thorns.
Thorns. Oh, nettle stings from plants, things like that. So you need a good, strong pair of gardening gloves. These are made from thick leather.
I hate nettles.
Right. First piece of equipment.
Yeah, come on, let's go.
Used for digging, and I shall get that one.
He's off. Isn't this exciting? So we're going to have a look at some of the tools that Mr. Steve uses in the garden.
What do you think this is called? Well, I'll tell you. It's a fork. F-O-R-K. Used for digging up the ground.
You have to be careful how you say that.
As you can see, this one has been well used because some of the forks are bent out of alignment. So I've really been having a really good go in the garden with that one.
So stand back a bit, Mr. Steve, so we can see. So there we go. So how would you use this?
You wouldn't use it on the grass. You'd use it in open ground to dig like that.
So you use the fork to dig and also to loosen the soil.
Yes, but this one, as I say, is bent already. So it's been well used over the years.
Mr. Steve has a bent fork.
Not recommended. So that's a fork. So the next one.
I like the way it keeps running around.
This is a spade. A spade. S-P-A-C-E. Used for shoveling dirt around and digging down deep into the soil. A spade. I like to call a spade a spade. And I shall let Mr. Duncan explain what that idiom is. That an idiom?
It is a phrase. So if you call a spade, it means you talk or you express things how you see them. So you are blunt and honest.
Yes.
So if you call a spade, it is an expression that means you speak as you find. So you don't mince your words, you don't hold back. You speak as you find. You speak your mind. You call a spade a spade.
Right.
If you just joined us, we are taking a look at garden tools.
Now, if you've got less work to do in the garden, so you're just hand digging, maybe putting some plants in, some small plants in, or you are weeding, you would use this. It's really a small spade. It's called a trowel. A trowel. So there we go. It's quite obvious what that does. I won't need to demonstrate that one.
It's like a little spade, really, isn't it?
Yes.
It's a small spade. And also, there is another kind of trowel as well, which you use for building. But that particular trowel is flat. You can see this one is curved. So it's actually curved in shape. But there is another type of trowel which is flat. And you normally use that in building. So this particular one is used for gardening.
There we go. Next piece of garden equipment.
We could do with some music, really, couldn't we? Some lovely music.
Now we've been digging. Now we're going to start clipping and pruning. And for this is a lopper. It's called a lopper. And that is very powerful. That will cut through the stems of branches in trees, probably up to 3 or 4 centimetres in diameter. So don't get your finger trapped in this.
Can I have a go?
No.
Can I have
Too dangerous. You haven't been trained in the proper way.
I want to lop something.
Health and safety. I could lop this camera, couldn't I?
You could.
Shall I demonstrate the lopper?
Go lop something over there. Mr. Steve's going to lop something. That's exciting. Mr. Steve just lopped something there. Lopper. Loppers. Big things for cutting branches.
Right. So if you still want to trim plants, but you don't have to get through such thick branches, you can use this, a pair of shears. A pair of shears. And that is just used for bushes, for trimming quite small pieces of plant material. I will demonstrate the shears.
Do you know what these remind me of, Mr. Steve? These remind me of big scissors. They're like very big scissors, aren't they, really? Could you cut your hair with them?
Well, not mine, because I haven't got much, but we'll have a go at some trees and bushes. There we go.
Fascinating.
Right. Now this has got quite a complicated name. It's called a pair of secateurs. Secateurs.
Secateurs sounds French.
There we go. Now it looks similar. It's like a small version of a lopper, but it's used for gently pruning your rose bushes. So if you want to make them look very neat and you just want to snip individual little flowers off or little branches, then you would use this pair of secateurs or secateurs. There we go. Easy. I keep my tools very sharp because a sharp blade is a safe blade. There we go. I'll throw that in there.
They also
There we
say
go. I
that
shall lock it.
they say that a sharp tool does a better job.
Definitely. Right. Now, what do you carry your tools in? Well, you carry your tools in a wheelbarrow, or you put all your plant material in a wheelbarrow, and you can see the wheelbarrow. Can we see the wheelbarrow? I'll wheel it on. There we go.
He's very good at this.
A wheelbarrow. What next, Mr. Have we got? I think we've run out of tools.
Yeah, you've got.
I've got one over here.
Mr. Steve's got a big hoe.
There we go. Can we see that? That's a hoe, H-O-E, used for weeding on a larger scale. So you sort of stab at the ground with it and it gets rid of all the weeds very quickly.
So, Mr. Steve, this is Mr. Steve's hoe.
Yes, you are. Right, I shall put that away. And over there, can we see for cutting the grass, we can see a lawn mower, which doesn't usually have a clock on it. But there we go, a lawn mower. I won't start it up because Mr. Duncan said it will interfere with the sound. So I won't start that up.
It's very noisy.
He's coming back in a minute. I'm eager to get out there and do some gardening. What do you think, Mr. Duncan? Shall I get out there and do some gardening?
I think you should definitely do something. So if you could, Mr. Steve's taking his hoe around the garden.
Can I show one other thing before?
Oh, okay.
Right. This. I brought this on earlier. If you put plants in, they will need watering, and you do that with a watering can. And water comes out the end. I'm sure you've seen that before, but it's called a watering can. And I've got lots of plants that need watering all the time, so this keeps me very busy. Of course, I could use a hose, which is a long piece of plastic that connects to the tap and can go on for several meters, and that will allow me to plug it into the tap and walk around without having to keep filling this up all the time.
Mr. Steve, can we have a look at your hose? Would you like to see Mr. Steve's hose? Go and get your hose.
It won't reach this far.
You can bring it. There's a portable one.
Yes.
There's a portable hose. Mr. Steve is now going to show his hose to everyone. Meanwhile, I have an apple. Can you see the apple here? This fell off my tree this morning. I've got an apple tree just behind me here. And this is one of the apples that fell from the tree this morning. Ding! And also here is a little flower. Can you see this? Do you know what this is? This is called a Japanese anemone. And there are lots of these growing in the garden at the moment. And also, here is something else from the garden. Can you see this? It is called a dunculus. Dunculus. It is a little bit like a thistle. Look at that, isn't that beautiful? Very lovely. And there are lots of these growing in the garden at the moment as well. So here is Mr. Steve. Mr. Steve is now going to show us his long hose.
Hose. That goes in the tap, and the other end, no, that end goes in the tap, and this end I will put the sprinkler on the end, but I haven't got it attached at the moment. I'm out of breath running up and down the garden, but yes, that's the hose. Mr. Duncan's unravelling it there. There's probably about 10 metres of hose there, I would say. Yes. It's alive!
Here is Mr. Steve's hose. I think I did a very good job of that.
I've got to unravel all that now and wind it back on. So I'll do that while you carry on talking.
Without strangling me. So, just in case you've just joined in, welcome to the live stream on a Sunday afternoon. It's live English in the garden. It's a beautiful day today. Thank you very much, Mr. Steve. You've done a very good job. I hope you've enjoyed this. It's been very different.
Right, so I'm now going to use these various tools in the garden. So I shall toddle off, shall I?
Are you going to leave us?
I shall leave you now.
Oh,
I hope that was interesting.
we've only just started.
Well, thank you for letting me come onto your fantastic show again, Mr. Duncan. And I shall go off with my gardening gloves and I shall do something in the front. I think I should do some weeding, or shall I trim some bushes? I like lopping off bushes and trimming them, yes.
Mr. Steve likes trimming
excited.
bushes, apparently.
Yes. Right, I'm off. Bye-bye, Mr. Duncan.
Before you go, what did we do last night? We did something very strange last night. I was talking about this earlier.
Yes.
What did we do last night?
We sat outside and looked up. It was a clear, lovely clear sky. The stars were shining and we saw lots of meteors going over, shooting stars. Quite a few of them. It was about one every minute. It was quite exciting because at this time of the year there is a cluster of meteorites going off, shooting stars, always at this time of the year in the UK. And we looked at it. It was very exciting, and there were lots of them streaking across the sky, all for Mr. Duncan's birthday. Of course, I arranged it. I spoke to the Cosmos and said, "Can you have some nice shooting stars for Mr. Duncan's birthday?" We'd had them. I don't know who I spoke to. I won't say who.
All I can think at the moment is whatever Mr. Steve is on, I would like some of it, please.
I can control the cosmos. And on that note, I shall go and control some weeds in the garden.
Controversial.
Bye for now. Bye-bye.
See you, Mr. Steve. So there's Mr. Steve. He's now going to do some gardening. He's now putting his tools into his wheelbarrow. And then he will go down into the garden to do some work. Bye, Mr. Steve.
Bye.
Bye. See you later. So that's it. Mr. Steve has left us. He's now gone to do some gardening, and we will go back in to the studio. I'm back in the studio. Whew. I think I've got rid of most of my viewers. Well, that was interesting. Or was it? So, there we were outside for a Sunday afternoon. Mr. Steve was showing us some of his gardening tools that he uses when he's outside. Mr. Duncan, something went wrong. Did something go wrong? I don't know. Let's have a look. We've got lots and lots of live chatters coming on now. Ahmed says it is really fun to have Mr. Steve here. It reminds me of my best friend and also your spontaneous way to make conversation. That is the reason why I'm here. Everything you see is spontaneous. It is. I think we might have had a technical problem, actually. We might have had a slight technical problem because some people are saying that the signal was cut off. I hope not. Hello, Mr. Duncan from Venezuela. Thank you very much for your messages today. Mr. Steve looks like a fireman today. Jamal says, hello, Mr. Steve. Hello, Mr. Duncan from Asma. Thanks a lot for your messages. Nice to see you too, Mr. Steve. Good idea. I enjoy watching gardening videos. A lot of people like to do gardening. In fact, it's very good for your health. Did you know that? It is. Happy birthday for yesterday from Bahad. Thank you very much. You are Welcome. I really know your age, but believe it or not, I did not reveal it. Oh, thank you very much for that. Mr. Steve is full of energy today. Yes, I don't know what Mr. Steve is doing today. He seems very full of energy. How is it going, Mr. Duncan and Mr. Steve from Ailton? Thank you very much for joining me today. Ernesto is here as well. Happy birthday for yesterday, Mr. Duncan. Asma says, why are there no subtitles? There are no subtitles because this is live. The thing you are watching at the moment is actually live. So there are no subtitles because it's live. It's live video. So this isn't recorded unless, of course, you are watching the recording. So if you are watching it now at this time, it's live. If you are watching it later, it isn't. So hopefully later there will be some subtitles, but if you are watching it live, there will not be. You can't have subtitles on a live video. Thank you, Jamal, for that. Oh, it seems that there are some problems with the video. Really? I don't know why. I'm not sure why. I think that's to do with YouTube, not to do with me. So if there is a problem, or if there was a problem, it wasn't my fault. I think it actually is something to do with YouTube. Welcome back, everyone. I think there was a slight fault with the transmission there, but it's not my fault. Trust me, it is YouTube's fault. Today we are asking, do you make any mistakes, or do you ever make mistakes? And also, when was your best birthday? I had a super time yesterday. So, talking of mistakes, we are now going to take a look at an English lesson all about mistakes. And this is a video that I made a few years ago. So here it is, one of my video lessons all about making mistakes. Nurse? Hi everybody, this is Mr. Duncan in England. How are you today? Are you okay? I hope so. Are you happy? I hope so. In this lesson, we will take a look at one thing everyone has in common, something we all do very often. In today's lesson, we will look at making mistakes. Hello? No, I'm terribly sorry. You've got the wrong number. That's quite alright. Bye-bye. A mistake is something you did that was not supposed to happen. It was unintentional or wrong. Mistakes can be small or large. A simple mistake may cause no problem at all, while a big mistake can cause a terrible disaster. There are many words connected to making a mistake, such as accident, blunder, boob, bungle, clanger, cock-up, error, gaffe, mess, mishap, and slip up. The word faux pas means to say something you should not have. Maybe you accidentally gave away another person's secret. The actual word comes from the French language and literally means false step. Why do we make mistakes? There are many reasons why a mistake can happen. Perhaps you are feeling tired or sick and cannot concentrate on what you are doing. Maybe you have no experience or knowledge of the task that you are carrying out. Maybe it is almost time to go home after a hard day at work, so you'll be in a rush or a hurry to finish what you are doing. Or even worse, you simply don't want to do the job at all. It will be true to say that no one wants to make a mistake, but sometimes we may carry out a task without concentrating or being careful. We do something badly without trying. If someone finds out that you have done this, they may be very angry and say, "Oh, look what you have done. You have made a real bodge job of that. Oh, you have made a real mess there. What is that supposed to be? Do it again." The result of a mistake can be called the effect, the outcome, the result, the consequence, the upshot. If we make a wrong choice or a bad decision in our life, then we may also look at this as a mistake. Oh, I wish I hadn't got married so young. What a mistake that was. Why did I smoke for 20 years? It was a foolish mistake. It was so wrong of me to steal that money. What a stupid mistake I made. I should have accepted that job offer. I have really blown it now.
Do you sometimes make a mistake? What was the worst mistake you ever made? What was the consequence?
When we discover that someone has made a mistake, we have two choices of how to react. We can forgive them and allow the mistake to be forgotten, or we may choose not to forgive them and never forget their error. This particular action depends on what the mistake was and how serious the consequence will be. There are many ways of forgiving someone. We can excuse them for their mistake. We can absolve them. We can let them off. We can pardon them. We can choose to forgive and forget. If we do not forgive them, then we hold it against them. We do not let it lie. We choose not to forgive and forget. We blame them. We condemn them. They say that the best way to learn is by making mistakes. In fact, as we go through life, some of our most important lessons come from the terrible mistakes that we have made. So in a way, getting something wrong and making mistakes is a natural part of living. There is a well-known English proverb that goes, "To err is human, to forgive is divine." This means that it is easy to forgive our own mistakes, but not so easy to forgive other people for theirs. Until next time we meet inside this little square box, This is Mr. Duncan in England saying I hope that I did not make too many mistakes today, and ta-ta for now. Look. So there it was, a lesson all about making mistakes. Do you ever make mistakes at all? We are live today on YouTube. I've just returned from the garden with Mr. Steve. Did you see it at 3 o'clock? Apparently there was a slight problem, a technical problem, not here, but on YouTube with the live stream. So it wasn't my fault, it was actually YouTube's fault. It was nothing to do with Mr. Steve and nothing to do with me. It was nothing that we did, so don't worry about that. But yes, we were briefly disconnected, but we are now back again. Thank you, YouTube. Thanks a lot. I feel so safe in your hands. Amri Wadi says, yes, you are back now, Mr. Duncan. Yes, I was never aware. I think YouTube had a slight technical problem. And of course, we lost a lot of our viewers during that time as well. I'm very sorry about that. It was not my fault. Hopefully, later on, we will have the recording of what Mr. Steve and I did in the garden. So just in case you missed it, or you didn't see all of it, it's not my fault. It was actually YouTube's fault. We have mystery idioms because we only have 25 minutes to go. Today's live stream has gone very quickly, I must say. Mystery idiom time. So here is the first mystery idiom. Quite a few people have guessed this one. And here is the second one. I love this one. I love this mystery idiom. It looks very intriguing. And also slightly cruel. I don't know why. It's strangely captivating. Do. So there they are. If you think you know what the mystery idioms are, you want them again. There they are. There's the second one, and there is the first one. If you think you know what the mystery idioms are, please let me know. Back to the live chat. We have had some slight technical problems at around about 3:10. There was a problem with the connection, but that is not my fault. I think that is because of YouTube, unfortunately. We missed most of Mr. Steve's explanation because of technical problem. Yes, I think that's YouTube's fault. Mario says the video and audio is okay. Okay, thank you very much. I'm very glad to hear that. Maybe it only affected some people. So I think some people could see me, but other people couldn't. So it might be because of YouTube, or of course it might be because of your local connection. I don't know. We will find out later when we watch the playback later. Rosa is here. Good morning, Mr. Duncan. How do English people celebrate their birthday? With a cake and soda? The same as Brazilian people? Over here in the UK, most people celebrate their birthday, certainly if they are young. If they are young people, like children or teenagers, quite often they will have birthday parties, normally at their house, and then all of their friends will go round and they will eat lots of food and they will play games. And of course, there will be a birthday cake as well. Normally the birthday cake will have lots of candles on top. And the number of candles depends on how old the person is. So, for example, if you are 20, you will have 20 candles on your cake. If you are my age, you will have a fire hazard. Now, Mr. Duncan, on this super live chat, I am here. Yes, okay, thank you, Karna Dewin. It's nice to know that people are still watching, even though there was a slight problem with the connection. Jamal is here. Also, Eugene is back. Thank you very much. We have definitely worked out that everyone is back. Mr. Duncan, will you do the gardening lesson again with Mr. Steve? It was nice, but shorter because of the bad connection. I'm very sorry about that. I do apologise about the poor connection. Maybe I will re-edit it later and repost it onto YouTube. We will see. We will see what happens when YouTube saves the live stream. We will see what happens. Ranjith. Hello, Mr. Duncan. How are you doing? I'm not too bad today. It was my birthday yesterday. I had a super time. Helena Blair says, Mr. Duncan, you are like a father to us all over the world. You are great. Many thanks. Thank you, Helen or Helene. You are welcome. Hello, Mr. Duncan. I didn't know that you would show on Sunday. Yes, I'm always here on Sunday. I am here every Sunday. Don't forget that. You can catch me on YouTube every Sunday. Every Sunday. Here's an interesting phrase. There we go. Go off. Go off. There are many ways of using this particular phrase. So go off can mean to stop liking something. So maybe you used to like something, but then you decided to go off it. You go off. It means to suddenly dislike something. You go off it. Also, go off can mean go bad or to become rotten. So maybe food can go off. So if something goes off, it becomes bad. It becomes rotten. It becomes inedible. It goes off. And of course, go off can also mean to explode or to fire. So if you fire a gun, or maybe if you let a firework explode, the firework goes off. It will go off. So go off can also mean explode. Explode. So if something goes off, it can mean go rotten or go bad. It can also mean to suddenly dislike something, so you go off it, and to suddenly explode or blow up, we can say go off. I hope that is helpful. Jamal has made a guess at today's mystery idioms, and also we have a big hello from Tunisia today. Hello, Tunisia. Thanks for joining me today. Halaosi or Halawi. Halawi, thank you very much for joining me today. Lee Tong says, Mr. Duncan, you look exactly the same as you did 10 years ago. Thank you very much for that. Nothing is different. Thank you. That's very kind of you. Mr. Duncan, what does intriguing mean? Intriguing. If something is intriguing, it means it is interesting. It makes you feel curious. So you want to find out more about something. You are intrigued. Intrigued. So something can be very intriguing. It makes you want to find out more about it. Intrigue. It's a great word. Yes, it looks as if YouTube has made a mistake today. I think so. Sometimes YouTube does go wrong. I think so, yes. Sometimes they do have some technical issues. I hope I will be able to enjoy Mr. Steve's explanation later. Thank you, Lucero or Lucero. Thank you very much for that. Hassan Abdi says, what is your advice for someone who has been learning English for 10 years but still doesn't have the confidence? Thank you, Hassan. Well, of course, there are ways of building your confidence. You can listen to your own voice. you can record the sound of your own voice on your phone and listen to it. So one of the best ways to improve your confidence is to listen to yourself. You have to get used to the sound of your own voice. So try to listen to how you sound when you speak English. And over time, it will help you to build your confidence. Thank you very much for that. Maria says everything is okay now. We can see you and we can hear you. Well, I'm very pleased to hear that, because I was outside with Mr. Steve, very busy in the garden. But unfortunately, there was a technical problem with YouTube. Isn't that typical? Are you a fan of movies? Do you like to go to the cinema? To be honest, I don't enjoy going to the cinema as much as I used to. I used to go to the cinema a lot many years ago, but I don't go as often as I used to. But I do like watching movies, and here are some of my favourite movies that I would like to quickly show you. So these are in no order, no particular order, but they are some movies that I enjoy watching. There are many others besides these, so these are just a small selection of the movies that I enjoy. Here's a good one, a movie called Ed Wood, starring Johnny Depp. This movie was released in 1994. The film tells the story of real-life filmmaker Edward Davis Wood, who is now famous for making some of the worst movies ever. His genres were horror and science fiction. Most of his movies were made on a low budget, so that means that not much money was spent on them. This particular film stars Johnny Depp, Bill Murray, and also features an outstanding performance by Martin Landau as Bela Lugosi. Bela Lugosi was a famous horror movie star many years ago. And very sadly, we did lose Martin Landau a few days ago. So Martin Landau did actually die a few days ago. Very, very sad news. I was quite upset about that when I heard that he'd passed away. And also Martin Landau also won an Oscar for his performance in this particular movie. Here's another movie. This is also a biographical movie. I do like movies about people's lives. So here's another movie called Man on the Moon, starring Jim Carrey. And this movie was released in 1999. The film tells the real-life story of the entertainer Andy Kaufman, who was a huge presence on both the American comedy scene and also the chat show circuit during the 1970s. This movie follows Andy Kaufman's life from his rise to fame in the 1970s through to his untimely death in 1984. And this movie stars Jim Carrey, another one of my favourite movies. I do enjoy movies about people's lives. One more. Here's another movie that I love watching so much. Pee-wee's Big Adventure. Has anyone ever seen this movie? It is a very good movie, very funny. It stars Paul Reubens as the man-child Pee-wee Herman. This film was released in 1985. This movie stars Pee-wee Herman as himself. This surreal comedy is great for children and adults alike. Whilst trying to track down his stolen bicycle, Pee-wee Herman goes on a cross-country adventure. This particular movie is directed by Tim Burton, who is known for his work on Edward Scissorhands and also the recent remake of Alice in Wonderland, and of course Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Let's have one more, shall we? Here's one more. Groundhog Day, another one of my favourite movies. This movie features the real event Groundhog Day, which occurs on February 2nd, every year. And this particular movie stars Bill Murray and Andy McDowell. And the movie is all about a man who has to live the same day over and over again. I know how that feels, to be honest. It feels a bit like that today. So there are just some of my favourite movies, but what are yours? Have you ever seen any movies that you want to watch again and again and again? We call them repeat viewings. So if you want to watch something over and over, we can say that it is a repeat viewing. You like to watch it again and again. Andras says, I like the way you correct the mistakes of the comments on the fly when you read them out. Thank you, Andras. That is, of course, from my teaching experience, because I was able to do that when I was working in China and all the other teaching work that I've done. So yes, I'm able to correct what people have written if they have lots of mistakes in their writing, and I can correct them in my head. Lucas says, I understand the words, but sometimes I get confused when I hear many phrases together. What can I do to improve this? Thank you, Lucas. Well, that, of course, is a part of learning anything. So when you learn something, or when you start learning something, it can seem very confusing. It can seem very bewildering. It can make you feel very confused and frustrated. Andrew says, in Groundhog Day, Bill Murray's real brother appears. Yes, you are right, Andrew. Bill Murray's real brother does appear in Groundhog Day. I think he plays the man who reveals the groundhog. I think so. I can't watch any movies again and again, says Mohammed Abdral Razik. I can't repeat any film. So normally if you watch a movie, you don't watch it again. You only watch it one time. Okay then. Faiza is here. Hi, Mr. Duncan. I love you so much. Thank you, Faiza, for that. You are more than welcome. Thanks a lot. We are going in 10 minutes. It is now time to take a look at one of my full English lessons. And this particular full English lesson is very special because in the video we talk all about socks.
Flowers are so beautiful, don't you think? They have wonderful colours in summer, and the fragrance from them is so sweet. You can smell them, you can pick them, you can stand back and admire them. You need to take care of them too. You need to water them so that they will grow and survive. A flower has many parts. The petals are the parts with the colour. The stem is the long part of the flower. Most flowers have leaves. If you touch a flower, you might find your fingers will be covered in a fine dust. This is called pollen. Pollen can go up your nose and make you sneeze. I love flowers, don't you?
These are my socks. I have many pairs of socks. There is something wrong with this pair. Can you see the problem? These socks have holes in them. They are worn out. If something is worn out, then we can say that it is no longer useful. It has become damaged and useless. The thing has been used so many times it has become damaged. You can feel worn out too, if you are tired after working hard. I have had such a busy day. I'm worn out. Oh, blue socks, I knew you well, but lately you had started to smell. To part with you so soon makes me think, if you leave me now, will I miss your stink? The time has come, now you've worn thin, to throw you straight into the bin. My pair of blue socks, what will become of your souls, now that you are full of holes? Alas, blue socks, I knew you well, but I could no longer stand your smell. So there it was. That was taken from my first ever full English lesson. My series of full English lessons are available. They are underneath this very video, the video you are watching right now. All of my lesson playlists are under this video, underneath in the description. Yes, they are. They really are. So we are coming towards the end of today's live stream. I hope you've enjoyed it. We had a slight technical issue earlier. Slight technical issue, which was YouTube's fault, not mine. It was YouTube's fault. So there. Let's have a look at the answers to today's mystery idioms. So we had 2 mystery idioms, but what are they? So there is the first one, common expression in English, and there is the second one, but what are they? So the first one, let's have a look at the answer to the first one. The answer to the first mystery idiom today is bark up the wrong tree. Bark up the wrong tree. The meaning is to have the wrong idea about something, to presume incorrectly about something. You are barking up the wrong tree. To have the wrong idea about something, we can say that you are barking up the wrong tree. And here is the other one. This is the other one that I know I'm going to have trouble with. So, what is the second mystery idiom? Can you see it there? It's a very unusual one. But what is it? I will tell you right now. Flogging or beating a dead horse. Flogging a dead horse. The meaning of this is to waste time and energy doing something that no longer serves any purpose and can't be revived. It is like flogging a dead horse. So you are doing something that is pointless or something that cannot be revived. You are flogging a dead horse. So there they are. Today's mystery idioms. I hope you got them right. Did you get them right? Yeah! Well done. Before I go today, I would like to leave you with a beautiful moment of time in my garden. Of course, earlier I showed you the birds in the garden because this week there have been so many birds in the garden. Also, I have something lovely and cute to show you now. Can you see what is appearing here? It is a little vole. I've got a little vole living in my garden. And also, can you see the other animal there? That is a baby dunnock. And that is a baby robin. There is a baby robin. Can you see it? Also eating the sunflower seeds. So that is a very busy corner of my garden. So lots of things going on. And in a moment, the vole will come back. Here it comes. Hello, Mr. Vole. Or maybe Mrs. Vole. So there you can see another visitor in my garden. Perhaps the smallest visitor that I have in my garden is this little vole. They are very small, very tiny, and very hard to see. So there it was, a lovely cute visitor in my garden, as well as the birds as well. So that's it. We are coming up to the end of today's live stream. Thanks a lot for watching today. Thank you very much for all of your messages. So many people. Unfortunately, I didn't have time to read all of your comments out today. Hassan says, Mr. Duncan, I like repeating the viewings of Mr. Duncan's English lessons. I'm not joking. Thank you very much, Hassan. Don't forget, you can watch this live stream again later, and hopefully there will be subtitles underneath. So you can watch this again later. So it will be saved on my YouTube channel. Thank you, Shen Fang, for your message. Mr. Duncan, I really love you. Thank you very much for that. Today is Father's Day in Brazil. Thank you, Anna, for that. Mr. Duncan, where are you? Where am I? I'm right here. I'm right here. Mr. Duncan, do you know there is a football match today? Manchester United versus West Ham. Well, I don't really follow football, to be honest. I don't follow it. Bye, Mr. Duncan. See you next week for another surprise lesson, maybe. Well, I will be with you next Sunday, definitely. So you can catch me on YouTube every Sunday from 2 p.m. UK time. I hope you have enjoyed today's live lesson, today's live stream. Thanks also to Mr. Steve, who was outside today. He's not there now because he's busy in the garden. He's doing some gardening. Thank you, Mr. Steve, even though we had some technical problems with YouTube today. Naughty YouTube. I will see you next week, next Sunday at 2 p.m. UK time. This is Mr. Duncan in the birthplace of the English language, saying thank you very much for watching me for the past 2 hours. And also thank you so much for your birthday greetings yesterday. I had a super duper day and it was made even better by you. I will see you later. This is Mr. Duncan saying thanks for watching me, talking to you live, and of course you know what's coming next. Of course you do. Ta-ta for now.